You know how the government keeps saying they're trying to help first-time buyers get into the market? Well, this one really frustrates me because while everyone's celebrating this new policy, I can already see the damage it's going to do. It's not just me saying that. The biggest banks, the top economists, the major research firms, they're all sending out the same warning. The government's out here saying they're solving the affordability crisis, that they're helping Australians own their first home. But what they're really doing is pouring hot fuel on an already burning market. And here's the truth, these policies aren't fixing affordability, they're just making the problem worse. Now, in the short term, it looks good. Take the 5% deposit scheme that started on the 1st of October. You'd think finally I can get into the market sooner. Now, instead of saving hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can buy with just a small deposit. Sounds amazing, right? But no one's asking the real question. How are you going to service a loan when you're borrowing 95% of the property's value? That's not solving the problem, that's stretching it. You're not fixing affordability, you're just pushing the risk further down the road. And I'll show you exactly how this one policy, the one that was supposed to help first-time buyers, has actually ruined the property market forever. I'll show you what the big banks are saying, what the major economists are also warning, and now that we're 1 month into the policy, I'll show you how the property market has already reacted, what's happened in just 1 month, and what it means for the rest of 2025 and for where property prices are headed in 2026. So let's talk about what this policy actually does. The 5% deposit scheme sounds simple, right? You're a first-time buyer, you can buy a home with just a 5% deposit, and the government guarantees the other 15%. You don't need lender's mortgage insurance. You don't have to save as much money to get into the market. On the surface, it looks like the government's giving everyone a fair shot at home ownership. But let's look at what's actually happening. When you lower the deposit, you instantly increase the number of people who can suddenly buy. So demand surges overnight. But has supply gone up? No. In fact, it has gone down. We're already 66,000 homes short of the target the government set for this year under the National Housing Accord. That's just year one, and we've already fallen behind. So what you've got now is tens of thousands of new buyers entering the market, chasing fewer homes than ever. Now, we're only 1 month into this policy, and the data already looks wild. CoreLogic's daily dwelling index shows home prices are now rising at the fastest pace in 2 years. The market has literally flipped into overdrive. Cotality reports a 1.1 rise in prices just over the past 28 days. That's the biggest jump since June 2023. And clearance rates, even with the flood of auctions, are still holding strong around 70%. That tells you one thing, buyers are back, big time. Every week, more first-time buyers are fighting for the same limited homes. And it's not just them. Investors are flocking into the market too. Look at this chart. There are record numbers of investors active in the Australian property market. Now let's add the final ingredient, interest rates. We've already had 3 rate cuts this year, February, May, and August. So what happens when you combine cheaper money with a 5% deposit scheme? Borrowing power jumps, confidence jumps. As a result, we have seen prices jump too. And we're seeing it happen live. Prices in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, all up. Auction volumes are hitting their highest since Easter. Listings still 15% lower than average. So when the government says this scheme helps buyers, in reality, it does not. It just helps push prices out of reach even faster. Now let's talk about what the big players are saying. Westpac, ANZ, and NAB all agree home prices will rise another 5 to 10% through 2026. And there's a new forecast from Lateral Economics that honestly, it's pretty shocking. They say this exact 5% deposit scheme will push home prices even higher by around 3.5% to 6.5% nationally. But here's the worrying part. In the price range that first-time buyers are actually targeting, the ones under the scheme's limits, those properties could jump as high as 9 to 10%. So the people this scheme was meant to help, first-time buyers, are actually the ones being priced out faster than everyone else. Think about that. A policy that was meant to make housing more affordable could actually make it up to 10% more expensive for the exact people it was supposed to help. What is the point of needing just 5% to get in if prices have just jumped 10%? Even Domain's chief economist says momentum has returned. Buyers are back and the market's moving faster than it has in 4 years. So if you're waiting for prices to fall, they're not with these settings. So what does this all mean? If you're a first-time buyer, yes, you can get in sooner, but you're also taking on more debt than ever. You're paying inflated prices for the privilege. If you're an investor, this is an opportunity because while everyone else is panicking, you can see what's happening before the headlines catch up. And if you're already in the market, this is your reminder that Australia's housing crisis isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. The government is trying to make things better, but they're using the wrong tools. And the result, higher prices for the exact people they're trying to help. Prices keep climbing and affordability keeps disappearing. So what do you think? Is this 5% deposit scheme a smart idea, or has it just made housing even more unaffordable for everyone and for the exact people it's trying to help? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. I'd love to hear your genuine thoughts. And if you want to stay ahead of the property market and become a property insider, hit the subscribe button. This is your 3 to 6 minute update every single day on the property market so that you can become a property insider. I've done another video on this 5% deposit scheme. It gives you a little bit more detail about how it works. Check out this video right here.